Hey everybody, it's Cayley. I'm back in my car. We are doing kind of an on-the-run vlog style video today. I'm going to take you guys with me throughout my day. It is a little interesting. I told you guys in a recent What's Sold video that we had a lot of new things happening, and I wanted to share some of those with you in today's video. Today is going to be a sourcing day, but there are some things at the office that we need to handle first. So I'm going to run in there in just a second and brief you guys on some of the new stuff we're doing. Let me give you a quick point of view situation here. I made a slight miscalculation, and by slight I mean a big miscalculation. So as you guys know, we work in batches and we try to do everything a week ahead of time. I'm not going to dive too much into that if you're not aware, but I will post a link up of the video about our week ahead system. So if you're interested, you can go watch that in detail. But basically everything that we source in this week will not get listed until next week. And so we're always 1 week ahead, which gives a little bit of buffer room and really eases the pressure of having to get stuff right now. At least I thought. So I mentioned we were hiring somebody else, someone to list more items and help grow the store, but they're also going to be helping us source. Right now, we're only having them list about 60 items additional a week in addition to what we were already listing. But when we were sourcing for the week that they started, we did not take into account that we would need additional listings that week. That's the long short of the story. Really big oversight. It was easy to do, but definitely does not help us in this situation now. And so I am about that much short for this week. And so to make a long story short, that small mistake cost me being behind about 100 items. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but just know that I messed up and we are really behind on sourcing. We haven't been behind on sourcing in a while. We've actually been ahead of schedule for most weeks. Usually we get the next batch done, at least half of it, a couple weeks prior. But since we've had vacations and days off and, a new person starting, because of that, it has really eaten into our sourcing bank, I guess you would say. I'm going to call it a sourcing bank, not a death pile. I wish I had a death pile right now, but it's eating into my sourcing bank. And so for that reason, we're really behind on sourcing, and if I don't get enough items this week, then our new person is not going to have enough to list to practice on next week. So all of that said, whenever we're in situations like this where we know we're behind or where we know we need to get significantly ahead, I always resort to the Goodwill bins. If you're not familiar with the Goodwill bins, it's also a Goodwill outlet, and it's basically a place that unwanted items from Goodwills go, as well as items that people just donate directly to the outlet center, and they get dumped into bins that you have to dig through. There are no hangers, there's no organizational system, and you just dig. And it's like Black Friday every single day. So it's a lot of hard work to find good items, but the plus side of that is when you get good items, you only have to pay by the pound, which makes items super cheap. And for us, you guys know that we travel a lot of different places, so we'll go to one area and spend all day going to all thrift stores in that area. When we go to the bins, we just have to go to one place and we spend all day there, and it's really nice not to have to drive around and waste time driving. So that's usually our strategy when we are behind or we know we need to get significantly ahead, is we know we can always go to the bins and really tough down, dig through, and get a ton of items at once. And that's what we're going to do today. And to be honest with you, probably all of next week, just so I can feel better about getting ahead again. So that's where we're at. We messed up. I messed up. I should have caught it, and we miscalculated for 1 week, and now we're behind. So our new person is learning sourcing, and she's actually going to go with us for the first time to the bins. I don't think I'll be filming her. I don't know if she's comfortable with filming yet, but I don't think you'll see her. I don't think you'll get to meet her, but just know she will be with us while we're sourcing, and we will be in the midst of teaching her as we go through that. I'm a little frightened for her. The bins can be a very overwhelming and scary place the first time you go to it. And so yesterday when we were sourcing at regular thrift stores, I kind of talked to her, and Nikki had a whole briefing as to what sourcing looked like at the bins, things you might run into, and then we actually stopped at the bins to just walk inside and show her and get that like initial impact of what it was like. And she was fine. And I highly recommend, if you're going to teach somebody that or take a friend, maybe just walk them in there at first, give them a debriefing, and it's a lot less scary if they know what they're walking into. I did not know what I was walking into the first time I went to the Goodwill bins. I went just with my sister and we had no clue. I was like, I saw this place online. I saw you can get items really cheap. Do you want to go? She said yes. I ended up with like 80 items that day. But I was very, very overwhelmed because I did not know what the culture was there, what the unwritten rules were. And so, yeah, it was really overwhelming. And I did not want to scare away a new person by having their first initial interaction at the bins be their first day sourcing there. Let me know down below if the bins were scary for you your first time. Now, I really like the bins. I don't love sourcing there all the time. It is not my favorite place to source, but I do love going to the Goodwill bins, and it is a great place to bulk up on items for cheap. So I'm running into the office now. We are going to do everything we need to do at the office, wrap that up, and then we are going to head to the bins. I was filming in my car. Oh, I don't want to get the building. I was filming in my car, and like everybody was around me, and I was like trying not to seem like I was filming. I'm gonna be filming today, but I will try not to. Not try. I won't get you in it. I thought I would share some of the new stuff. That we have at the office, like the new photo setup. Nice today. You do look nice.
It's like I put effort in.
This is not a good angle for all of us though, so I'm gonna get off here.
No, my chin right now. Woman 1 and woman 2.
I'm filming, so I'll be done in just a second.
That's what we call this person is woman for YouTube. Woman. Woman 1, woman 2. Hi, good morning. Welcome to Nikki and Cayley's new Photoshop area. I don't know. Anyways, so this is the new Photoshop area. One thing that we did add a second because we brought somebody else in. So this is our original one. This is the new one. We did paint the walls the same way that we did the other one, just to kind of brighten things up a little bit. But we're really excited to have a new area as well. So same setup kind of applies. We still have our regular hanger. We have our dress one if we have like something really lengthy. And we still have our table with measuring tapes and scales and stuff like that. But what we really want to show you today is we're doing.
Oh, what's the carpet for? People have been asking why we decided to get a carpet when there's already carpet there.
The carpet is for white items. I don't have anything white over here, but like if I was gonna say this was all white and I was gonna photo remove it, the white in the wall would kind of whitewash it out. So we actually just like lay them down on the carpet. We would spread them out really nice, and then we would take them almost as if they were hanging on the wall. And the dark or like the color of the rug around them helps kind of define the top or the shirt or the pants or whatever it is a little bit better.
People thought that was really weird.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, why did you get a rug when there's already carpet there?
I mean, let's be honest. Like, look at this carpet. There's like rips over there. There's like frillies and that, and like these we know are 100% clean. The carpet has like lint and like pieces of the poly mailers thrown off and stuff like that on it, so we know that the clothes are staying in good like top shape too, which is nice. So let's talk about lights though. So these are a typical light setup that we have. They're just like regular umbrellas. I kind of have a debate on which way I like them versus the others, but we'll talk about that. So if we turn these on, let there be light. This is kind of what, if it looks brighter, this is what the photo kind of setup would look like for us. The crappy thing about the umbrellas is like they're very bulky. Like you try to walk through here, you're banging into them, or you're trying to like take a photo, but you have to make sure you like cut these out. You're not catching them in your photo. If you move them way back, well, you lose most of your light. We have a debate in the office. Y'all can tell me what you think. I know that they're intended to like soften the light like this, but I honestly prefer them this direction.
I prefer them that direction
like
as well.
Like a sociopath. Because it gets, you gotta be careful with the shadow. That's the one thing I will tell you. But you can push them further out. And in my opinion, it makes them look brighter. But you do, again, have to be very cautious of the shadows and where you put them. Otherwise, you can create odd, like, shadows in here. But I prefer them this direction.
Light! Yeah, so we just got a photo setup done, and we really debated, do we want to keep the umbrella light system because that's the one we were already using. We're familiar with it. We have links to like all of our supplies because I put them in the description. So I was like, it'll be really easy just to order everything off of Amazon. But then we were like, but what about ring lights? Like, what about ring lights? Because as she said, they're kind of bulky. You run into them. Ring lights
There's so many.
Yeah, ring lights are super slim. And I was like, man, I'd really love to try a ring light system. Ultimately, we ended up going with an umbrella system. I think the main reason for that is I didn't want to buy a ring light for also our new and our old setup because I don't want the employees to have the same setup. So we went the umbrella lights. It was like a week later and Neewer, which is an outstanding brand of ring light and the one I think you guys have probably all heard about for resellers, reached out to me and they were like, can we send you a ring light and try it? And I was like, yeah. And I was thinking, could you not have done that like 2 weeks sooner? Of course, they didn't know. But Neewer sent me a ring light and we've been testing it out. It's pretty awesome. I'll show a quick video of like the unboxing and we've been playing with some of the features. The one thing I'll say is
it's like a flippin' dance party in here. If you use the color, she turned it on and it was like all these different colors. You could have a dance party with the ring light.
Right. So we're going to test it out today because I have not done this yet. I've only done it with shoes because I think it's going to be great for our shoe setup. But I'd like to test it today on clothing and see what the difference is between the umbrella lights and the ring lights. Let's go. Okay, so I'm about to take a photo. This is with the lights turned in. Ta-da. And obviously we'd get up close. Okay, now let's do it where we switch it around.
This is called the sociopath manner.
I hope this is recording because I'm like screen recording on my camera itself. Okay, this is with the lights turned inward.
Look how much brighter.
It is a lot brighter. Okay, now let's try the ring light. This thing is heavy duty, guys. Super heavy duty. Ooh. Can you plug that in, please?
Yes, I would be honored. Ta-da.
Now this thing is like super fancy. So it has a power button and it has like a warmth and a brightness level. We're gonna turn this bright and cool toned. I still need to play around with this and figure everything out, but look, different colors.
Party, dance party.
Have a party. There was one that was like cop, like
Red,
flashing.
white,
yeah,
red and blue.
I haven't figured that one out yet. I mean, I don't think we'll need it, but still testing like all this. I think one of them's saturation as well, but this looks pretty good to me. So should we just do this? So here is a comparison of all of the photos side by side. The two on the sides are from the box lights or umbrella lights, and then the one in the middle is from the ring light that we just tested out. As you can see, the ones on the side, I know it's kind of hard to tell being on a screen in these small pictures, but the ones on the side, if you look kind of towards the bottom half, you're going to see a lot of shadows. If you look at the one in the middle, the overall lighting is very diffused and spread out, and it creates a much softer lighting, and overall, again, I know it's hard to tell, but to me looks much brighter in the middle photo.
Look at that. That's so nice. And let's not mention or not just skip the fact that this is one thing here.
Oh, yeah.
You could take the photo from in here. Honestly, I don't know if she showed you this or not, but you could even fixate your phone in here and just touch photos if you'd be in a stationary position to take the majority,
Yeah.
which would be really cool. And you have all this like extra free space. Like
Okay, let me get this on video mode. So, tons of space. Look at the difference in the space you're saving. So I think that this is going to be like really good for shoes, which is where I'm probably going to put it, is over here, because I do think that they'll just be able to put the phone in this and then just like stationary move them and snap them. And that's just, I mean, I do think you have to have it kind of far back so that you can capture it, but like if you've got it even closer, it's super bright. Love it.
That's great. Good stuff. I do really like this. I kind of want to play with it. Oh, look at that.
That would be good. You know what that would be good for? The people saying they're having issues with the right color not coming out. Like if you're really struggling, I usually switch to a cool, like stay with a cool tone, but if you're struggling getting the unique color, you could probably do that warm toned to get exactly how it's supposed to look. But I'm a big fan, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's worth the money. So something else that's new that we've been doing is, as you know, we have our bin system. So this is everything that's getting listed this week, but we also have the next week here. And then we've got the following week now on this table behind. And the reason we decided to go ahead and do this was because we were holding everything in what we call our overflow bin, which is essentially our draft bank. So every day we are supposed to list active 22 items right now, but we actually photograph 35 5 days a week, which ends up being a little bit over of like, I think 21 items every week in our draft bank. We use those for days off and things like that. But we realize we might as well go ahead and just schedule them out as far as we can, and then we'll just look at how far out we're scheduled to determine how far we are ahead, and that keeps everything out of the actual drafts in eBay and makes me not worry so much for items getting corrupted. But since we've been doing that, we've been making these signs. These are just quick laminated. We don't have a laminator machine. Nikki bought the ones that you just put paper in and then slide these in, and then we write on them with our dry erase markers. So we have a couple sets of these, which are every day of the week, and then we just write the actual days out. So that's been really helpful. And yeah, we're like essentially a couple weeks out at a time, and everything has a system.
Those are the ones I do know.
So we finally made our way to the bins. Nikki is working side by side with our new girl, and I am currently digging in the handbags accessories section. In this section, I like to look for ties, and this is a really, really good one. I'll talk more about that brand in a second. I also found this Fossil coin purse that had leather trim. I love finding the smaller items to sell in the handbags bin because they're so easy to photograph and to list. I also found this 31 bag. If you guys don't know, 31, although it is kind of cheap, has a really good sell-through rate and a good following depending on what it is. Sometimes I can even get $50 for the luggage. Here's another one of those ties. Rush Limbaugh No Boundaries collection. Awesome vintage tie. Been walking around with Hulken bags so we don't have to worry about having a cart, and that has been awesome because they do run out of carts quite frequently. So later on I joined up with Nikki and the new girl just to check in and see how things were going.
I was like, who's this person coming really close?
You're like, get out of my way. How's it going?
How's it going for you?
Well, I went through the shoes and did not come out with anything. And then I went to the handbags and got a couple things, but the best thing were these ties. So example of something like wacky you should probably look up. These are like vintage Rush Limbaugh no boundaries ties, and I found 2 of them, and they go anywhere from like $25 to like $60. I got 2 of them, so I was pretty happy with that. They're really crazy though. I came across this men's shot military jacket, and any kind of military item I'm definitely looking up. This one did have a little bit of wear, but I thought we could clean it up with a depiller or defuzzer. And after doing comps, even though it did not have the best sell-through rate, I saw that some of these jackets were going for a lot of money, so I decided to risk it at the bins. I was looking at this Facets 2 vintage overall because it had a leather trim, but it ended up being nothing. And that's pretty much what we're teaching our new girl to look for at the bins, are factors versus the brand labels, because you can't look at every single brand label at the bins or you would be there all day, every day. So we're specifically looking for certain factors, leather trims, really chunky, high quality materials. And then we're also looking for Western-y pieces because we think that's going to be trendy. So looking for anything that has fringe, leather details, or anything that looks kind of equestrian, we are looking at doing a comp on and picking up if it looks good. Here's another example of a small item that I look for at the bins. It is a pair of gloves. These are a pair of North Face gloves, which I bet would have done pretty good if I would have found the other glove. So I usually put stuff into my Hulken bag if I think I might find the mate later, and then toss it back at the end if we don't find it. So that is a small snippet of some of the things that we are looking for while we're at the bins. This day my best find was the Smart Wool women's merino wool short sleeve shirt, just like a base layer. Definitely a brand I would keep your eye out for at regular thrift stores as well. I think that shirt was going to go for about $40. That was a really long day. So I didn't get much filming done at the actual bins themselves, but we did pick up some really great items. Probably our best find was that Smart Wool that we found, and then I also found a 100% wool Polo Ralph Lauren men's cardigan with like leather trim, which I think I'm gonna list for about $75. Other than that, we brought home I think roughly 45 items today, which is honestly a lot lower than what I was expecting. Normally when Nikki and I go to the bins on an average day, again, some days are like terrible, some days we do even better, but I would say on average we come back with about 60 to 70 items. Today we went to the bins, and then for the last 30 minutes we ran over to another thrift store and got about 5 items, but we ended up with like between 45 and 50. Here is what we got, about a couple of totes full. Oh yeah, I forgot about these. These were probably actually my favorite find, were these ties, just because they're so wacky and weird. Definitely a bolo, keep your eye out for them. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in this ring light, it is pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. I am really surprised after testing it out today that just one ring light is actually brighter than my 2 umbrella lights, which by the way I buy special bulbs for. So really reconsidering my lighting setup because this takes up much less space. So that's the end of the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching, and thanks for coming along with us today. If you're not already and you like these kind of videos, make sure to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. That way, as we put out content like this, you will get notified every single time I post a video. And also when we do a live Q&A, which I think the week you'll be watching this, we'll be doing one that following Monday. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It's been a while. I miss you guys. I'm ready to get back on. Okay, bye.